into the and 30 will KJ Kennedy, the brainchild for kickoff.
Well, it's been interesting for sure. A lot of moving parts. I want to thank Alexandria and Kim Stoddard, and Alexandria out of Kingston's been a great support to us, and of course Allison and I myself today have been really working hard. Adam Melrose, yourself, John, Ron. There's so many people to mention. Lena, Fitzy, Ethan Chambers. It's just there's a lot of people and a lot of team managers that I didn't mention that have been on the phone all day long trying to work this out. We're working some kinks out. There, with this many people, John, you can imagine there's a lot of different questions and concerns. But I think it's that pre-jitter tournament. Once we get it going, I think it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, there's going to be over 230 participants in this tournament, both on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. You have an under 14 bracket as well as a 15 and above. Can you talk about the thinking that went into that particular decision?
Yeah, we just wanted to give an opportunity for, the older guys are usually a little bit better at Madden, a little more accomplished. You're going to see some pretty good gamers in this tournament. We got to see a few in our London tournament. And of course, there's people we don't know about, and we're going to find out, out of the OPFL, bringing everybody together. And, when you're not being able to play football, find out who's the best player, man, at the, over 15 and over, and then the 14 and under, because the problem was, what ends up happening is the 14 unders usually end up going to the consolation round because it's tough. Now there are some young kids that can hang in there, and we saw that in some great games in the Xbox side. But I think what we're going to see is some really good competition, and there's going to be some top level players, and it's going to be fun to kind of see that part of it, the man part. But really, it's getting together. We got yourself, we got Glenn Mills, who's become a good friend over the last few years. He's a foe on the field. Someone that I've always looked up to, and all the OPFL, to be honest with you. Glenn's going to be doing interviews. We got a jam-packed, I guess 36 hours here to bring you.
Yeah, this is the OPFL and OFL Madden NFL 20 tournament. But Jay, you sort of mentioned there is a lot of logistics that go into a tournament of this nature, especially when you're dealing with 240 plus different moving parts and 240 plus different locations as we perfect social distancing during this quarantine era. Can you talk about, though, anything that we can iron out early, some problems you could possibly see on the horizon that, if you let the people know watching right now would possibly help out down the line?
Yeah, I think number one, everyone needs to just take a deep breath. There's the brackets are up on the OPFL site. We've got the brackets up, so that's a good thing. It's going to be pretty straightforward once you get through the first tonight and tomorrow morning. I think people have a better understanding. I think some people are a little, antsy. One of the things, though, that we do want to stress is you need to have, a PlayStation or Xbox account. We did have that issue 20 minutes going into the start of our show here tonight. couple of people weren't sure about that. If you don't have it, you can apply for PS online for 3 days free. So get that and make sure you're ready to go. And I think at the end of the day, it's communicating with your managers. If there's any issues, you can always communicate with us. We're going to be okay. I think we can do things better next time going into the tournament. But we did rush this, right, John? And we talked a little bit about that. But we just thought that, man, there's been no football. This was supposed to be the opening weekend of the OPFL, and what a way to celebrate that with a regional, 2 rounds of regionals, and then to try and crown 4 provincial champions, which we would do if we were running a season.
Yeah, and can you touch on that just a little bit? Because, yeah, you mentioned the rush, the blitz, if you will, coming a little early of this tournament in the first week of May. But, to give the opportunity for both the OPFL and OFL players, coaches, and associates to give them something to do. And let's face it, KJ, I've been dying to get out to the field, to call some football with you, or hey, just chuck the pigskin in a park. I'd take anything at this point. But this is truly an opportunity to have some fun as a community.
It really is. I talked to Don Hamilton from the OFL, and he was right on board. Again, it would have been great if we had a little bit of a longer time. We probably would have got more kids. But I think at the end of the day, we've got people from all over the province. I mean, even people that aren't in the OFL, OPFL or OFL, John. And that's what's great, is that we've kind of touched some different areas. And it's going to be great to see how people compete with each other. And then it's also going to be great to learn about how do you deal with social distancing as an athlete. And I think that was my heart for this, John, was, wasn't so much, I mean, obviously we're going to have winners and losers and all that kind of stuff, but that's not what it's about. Competition is great. It's about, Glenn's got some great interviews coming up. We've got some great interviews all weekend, hearing from some prominent people in the football community about how do you deal with this time of social distancing. Some of these kids, think about you and I mean, we want to get out. I don't want to get out there, throw a ball, hit a golf ball, that's about it. But, there's a lot of kids right now who are just stuck at home, but it's how you come out of this, I think, John, that's going to define us. And so doing these types of things keeps the community together, but it also lets people know that, hey, we care about you. If you want to call in, we have the time, we'll get you on and we'll talk a little bit about how you're handling social distancing. This is a community affair.
Yeah, you mentioned it. You kind of tease the people at home, the great interviews that we have lined up, not just here this evening on your TGIF Friday, but as well as all day Saturday and all day Sunday as this OPFL, OFL, MADDEN NFL 20 tournament will commence. But just before I let you go, Commissioner, because I'm sure you will have a lot of phone calls. There's possibly some sanctions, maybe even, I don't know, some fines coming down the pipe. We'll have to see what this tournament has in store. But can you talk about how should players respond if they have an issue? Are the regional reps that they should be responsible in contacting?
Yeah, just make sure that you text whatever your regional rep has reached out to you. If they haven't reached out to you, you can reach out to Allison or Lena. Allison will be handling the PS4 bracket, and you've got her information, and Lena's handling the Xbox bracket. And I think, just understand that the OPFL Alexandria has, and Mike Valenza, for ourselves at Junior Mustangs TV, we have everything up on Facebook, on social media. Just go and take a look. It's really simple. And when you get your scores, and I don't know, John, if you want me to stay on when you're doing the rules, just in case there might be some clarifications, because we did have some issues earlier today with questions about all pro and accelerated clock and all that kind of stuff. But just make sure that you understand that at the end of the day, this is for fun, and we will find a way to get your game in.
Well, with that being said, though, Coach, we do have the rules being laid out here at 8:20, so we will let you go. I assure that they will be laid out crystal clear, standard with an iron fist, as the commissioner would want. So that's KJ Kedemy. Thank you so much. And that will give us an opportunity back in our studios to quickly go over the rules for this tournament. Now, the rules, from my understanding, have been laid out for all of the participants prior to this day's competition, but we will go over them one time, from the top down to the bottom. And joining me will be the, gamer tag Smokey Bear himself, Ron Forwarda. And Ron, I know I grew up on Sega Genesis, the Troy Aikman style football. I dabbled in the Madden, especially when the newer consoles came out. You were saying 1992 was the first time that you used to, I guess, blow the cartridge and stick it into the console?
I remember the '89 version of Madden. That was the first one that I ever got. Most popular one that I had was the '92 version. But yeah, I've been playing Madden since the late '80s, early '90s on the old Super NES stations and the GameCubes and stuff like that. So it's great to see like the graphics and everything over my lifetime change as much as they have, which really, in the grand scheme of things, it's only been like 30 years since this has been out, and we're going from digital blips out there to like really incredible graphics that we see in the games now.
Give it another 30 years run, we might be actually in the game.
Well, maybe my walker or my wheelchair at that point, but we'll see about that.
So let's get into the tournament rules for this weekend's competition. Now, let's lay it out quite simply off the top. You do have start times, even for tonight. 8:30 is your scheduled start time for the first round, but you have 45 minutes. A 45-minute window to complete this. Now, if there are delays for any reason, feel free to contact your regional rep. Now, using all Madden updated rosters. Make sure that you're using the updated rosters when you are participating in this tournament. The settings must be on all pro settings going into each game, and make sure you're not taking advantage of that. Quarters will be set to 5 minutes, and there will be a 29-point mercy rule applied. Here's the thing, though. If you are losing by 29 or more and want to battle to the final whistle, that is your prerogative. You can so choose to, but if you decide to quit, as simple as that, it will count as a loss. Now, you must, as Ron, we get into more the nitty-gritties of the rules here, you must always rush 3 players. QB contain equals 2 rushers. So be sure to have 1 more rusher at the quarterback to equal 3. Now, if you don't follow these rules, your game could come under sanctions. We were just talking with the commissioner. There are many eyes focusing on the different prizes here tonight.
Well, there's a lot of different people going on. There's a lot of people watching this, and we want this to be as fair competition as possible. So we're asking everyone, please abide by the rules and everything else. 3 rushers means you must have 3 rushers.
And more on the defensive side of the equation. Do not use the same blitz the entire game. Mix up your play call. And make sure that, well, if you do start using the same blitz repetitively, once again, you could fall under sanctions. And, well, Ron, I think sanctions is just another, Disney World for an L. If they do start to create sanctions and it seems to be consistent, that'll eventually count as a loss towards the record. So try and stay away from the sanctions and simply follow the rules.
Yeah, like let's have everything decided on the field, so to speak, or the video game. As we're decided, we don't want to have someone, we don't want to have to make a decision or anything like that at some point down the road. So, everyone play fair. This is all in good spirit. We're trying to do this to keep everybody engaged in football. Like, we understand, look, this is a very different reality that everyone's in. So part of being a football player is sportsmanship and the respect of your opponent, on the field or off the field. You guys don't have to like each other for the time that you're on there, or you may like each other off. But while you're there, you're going to respect each other and everything else. So that's really important. Even in the video game, guys, let's have a little bit of respect out there.
And I think it's imperative to note that we are going from one side of the province to the other with 230 plus participants everywhere in between. Some people's internet connections will probably be better than others. And as the commissioner stated at the beginning of our broadcast, patience is the key here. But as we do talk about disconnecting issues, the rules are set as follows. If there is a disconnect in the opening half of play, well, start the game all over again. If this becomes a repetitive issue and there is a delay, well, I would contact your regional rep. Another thing to note that let's say the interference comes in the second half of action, Ron, what we will ask players to do is reset the game and, well, complete the first half of action as if it was the second half. The score, though, Ron, from the first half will be managed into that second game. So, for instance, Ron's beating me 14-0, and essentially the game disconnects in the second half. We will start the game back up at 0-0, but in theory, Ron is beating me still 14-0, and I have only till halftime to tie this game up. If the game were to be tied, so for instance, it's 14-0 now on my side, despite the fact that it looks like I am winning, it's a tie game 14-14 at halftime, you'll play the third quarter as if it was overtime.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, we're really hoping logistically, that everything goes smoothly and everything.
Knock on wood, Ron.
Knock on wood, of course, that we do have, that we have good connections and everything else. And again, ultimately, at the end of the day here, guys, like I said, we want everyone to have a good time, enjoy themselves, participate in the football community, but have a little bit of respect for each other. Follow the rules, because the last thing we want to do is start saying, sorry, you didn't follow the rules and you're out.
Now, the one thing that is imperative to note on disconnected games that do go to overtime, that each team will be given one possession. So if your game does go to overtime, after a disconnect, each team will get one possession to try and, continue to force the action. As we will go into the nitty-gritties, Ron, I think this one, they put this rule in here for you. I got to be honest with you. Onside kicks can only be done if you're trailing in the fourth quarter or down by 21 points or more.
Well, we're going to see the rule of they're back there for a reason. I know as a coach myself, I used to onside kick all the time. I know a lot of people do in the London area. We don't really teach the kicking game per se. But again, this is a video game, and we're trying to simulate as much of a real game as possible. Again, guys, if you've played Madden this year, it's really hard to recover an onside kick. Kick the ball away, play some defense, pick the ball off, force a fumble, do something that way to make some plays.
Yeah, I would say about 9 times out of 10, I've just seen the ball roll out of bounds and ends up costing them penalty yardage.
Exactly.
Now, we go to the rules where I think they put these ones in for me, if the onside kicks are in for you. I like to go for it on fourth down. Doesn't matter if it's 4th and 40 from my own 4-yard line, Ron. You got to give me 4 downs of football. But that's not how we're going to be playing this tournament, folks. The fourth down rules go as follows. 4th and 5 or 4th and less than 5, you can go for it anywhere at any time. So if you're at 4th and 6th, or 4th and above that marker, 7, 8 and above, you'll be forced to punt. Now, any other fourth down, you must be trailing in the fourth quarter to go for it, or down by as much as 17 points or more. So, if you're trailing desperately in the fourth, or if you're down by 17 or more, then in theory you can start playing 4-down football all the way through. But, like I was mentioning before, until then, 4th and 5 and less, you can go for it. 4th and above, you will have to punt. Ron, your thoughts on the fourth down rule?
Play smart, play field position, and again, you want to score in every opportunity that you can, but we're trying to make this as realistic as a competition as possible. It doesn't happen in the NFL. You don't see them going for 4th and 17 on your own 20-yard line. I hate to use an example, but this isn't London minor football here, guys, where you're not just going to run toss sweep to the right and give it to your fast guy. There's athletes on the video game and everything else, too.
Well, and as we mentioned, people will be eyeing you that you don't keep playing the same play over and over again, as we will switch to the streaming rules. What does it take to stream, and what do we need from you? Well, number one, in your settings, please set your commentator volume to 0. Even if you don't love Ron and I, which I just don't know why you wouldn't, but you need to set your commentator volume to 0 on your Madden game and turn your microphone off. This is going to be a benefit to you for many different reasons, especially if the game is not going as well as you want it to be. Twitch or YouTube streams are needed here to apply the streams to our servers. Now, please send your final game scores to your team manager. Be prepared for an on-air interview. Yes, we're coming after you if you keep winning. We want to talk to the winners and, even some of the losers too if there's Heartbreak City, and we want to find out your thoughts on that. And, be positive. As Ron was mentioning before, and as KJ, our commissioner, said, this is all to perfect social distancing. This is all to bring the OPFL and OFL community together. When we'd rather be on the gridiron, we're bringing you some esports variety. And then the last thing, Ron, each bracket winner will receive an NFL jersey of their choice. Now, they're going to have to send their desired jersey size and team and name by Monday, May 4th to the regional convener. Now, if you were to win this tournament, which you're not eligible, Ron, what jersey would you grab?
I go the royal blue, the new Chargers jersey. I really like that one. If not, going to probably go with a real popular one this year is going to be the pewter Tampa Bay number 12,
Okay.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Or the 87 Gronk.
Tampa Bay, I believe
Yeah,
he is already copyrighted down there. Tampa Bay.
The Tampa Bay Gronkineers.
I believe we will try to bring in our commissioner just to make sure that we got everything A-OK under the rule books. And if we did, we'll go to KJ here quickly, the commissioner yet again, and then quickly get into the action as it appears we're at the 8:30 mark here, Adam. So KJ, we're all the rules to your liking. All the rules to your liking.
Yeah, the only thing we would say is don't use accelerated clock. Don't try to speed the clock up and shorten the game against your opponent. You can use the whole play clock, just don't use your accelerated clock. And also, just with the jerseys, just one correction on that. It will be a raffle, and it will be on Sunday before the championship games for 4 to 6 jerseys that we are going to be raffling off to some of our competitors in the tournament, as we don't have a regional champions aren't going to be named because we thought we'd have more people, but that's okay. We're looking forward to doing those jerseys and getting them out to our great competitors.
So we originally were going to give out 4 jerseys to the regional winners. You're saying there's potentially 6 jerseys that are going to get raffled off on Sunday. And even if you potentially have lost tonight or on Saturday, you're still in the running for those?
Yes, sir. And that's something that we decided on. And it's going to be, it's actually going to be, if you make it to Sunday, you're not going to be in the running for the jersey. You're in the running for the money. Anyone who gets knocked out Saturday will be in the running for the jerseys, and we will draw that before the championship games.
So cold, hard cash on the line Sunday, but still some pretty good NFL swag, if you ask me, for the people that fall out on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, so pretty excited about everything, but everything else sounds good, and looking forward to seeing some games played.
Commissioner, we hope there are not too many sanctions, not too many fines, and hopefully you don't have to come after Ron and I for any broadcasting problems, buddy. We wish you the best this evening, and we will talk to you more on Saturday and Sunday, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
And again, this is the OPFL, OFL, Madden NFL 20 tournament. And here we are, Ron, right into the action. We talked about it, the round of 64. And when you got 4+ tournaments, quick math, that's a lot of kids playing football.
So what we're basically going to do is we're going to try to switch around from game to game. We're going to try to do this as like a red zone type of Sunday where we see big plays or something like that. We're going to try to jump to the highlights of there if someone's getting close. So we're seeing a lot of the different streams and everything else. So if we're kind of like jumping from game to game to game, please be patient with us. You know, we're trying to bring as much action, get as many people in there as possible there.
And we're trying to encourage you, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, to make those big plays and those eye poppers into the end zone early. And that'll get our attention of our reps and our producers to start streaming your games. But as Ron mentioned, there is so much action that we are just going to try and get through it all. But the first game of the tournament that we are, showing is featuring the Buffalo Bills and the KC Chiefs. To be honest with you, Ron, this is the first time that I've seen the Bills used in this kind of tournament. Pretty cool.
Buffalo's got a really, really good defense. They're really fast. They're really good counteraction to big positive offenses like Kansas City, like Baltimore, like the Houston Texans, New Orleans Saints. A good defense will stop a good offense, even in a video game if you're done right. Buffalo has enough weapons on offense where they can make some noise.
As you say that, though, an absolutely crucial 3rd down incompletion. Man, you don't like seeing that in real life. I bet you that smashes a controller in this, Ron, when the ball goes in and out of the hands of the receiver.
Well, that's flat out. That's a drop by the receiver and everything else. That's unfortunate because it was great play design and everything else. That's what you're looking for at that point. You're trying to hit the tight end drag as we see the long field goal attempt.
And it is no good. It is shy, Ron. The 43-plus yarder is no good, and it still remains 0-0. Tweety Furball 82 dodged a bullet right there, not only on the drop ball on the 3rd down from his, opponent, but as well as the missed field goal. We see his offense go back to work, and on the very first play of the game, Tweety Furball 82 is going to throw an INT.
Tip drill. That's what you're seeing there. But again, that's what we're just talking about. Buffalo's defense is a really good counteractor to the high-power offenses that you see out there in this video game because they're so fast and they're so quick at the linebacker positions and their safeties like they are in real life. It's a really, really difficult team to play.
Have you ever enjoyed Bills Mafia in real life, Ron? Have you gone to the Bills games?
Yeah, quite a few times actually. Actually, my favorite seats in Buffalo are second level, end zone, first and second row, and it's right in the middle. I call it coach's film because it's got a really, really great view of the down the field action that you're seeing as we see a New Orleans Seattle game.
Yeah.
This is going to be kind of a matchup that we see a lot of, I believe, tonight.
TSGX Arm is on the defense right now with his Saints, and I'm loving the Seahawks rocking the retro jerseys that the quarterback Russell Wilson actually petitioning to bring back in this next upcoming NFL season. We see him scrambling out of the back of the pocket, given an eternity, playing all sorts of Jeopardy music, Ron, and eventually just forced to throw it away. A whole lot of nothing.
Now, here's something to keep in mind when you're playing Seattle, guys. Coach Ron really, really, really hates those lime green Seattle jerseys, so please don't select those.
Oh, I'm sure we'll see those. Are we going to see Lynch run the ball here? Well, we do, but with limited access on that last play, Mr. Forwarda.
Yeah, that's the old Kurt Warner run straight up the gut there. The old Penn State product. Again, Marshawn Lynch, the Cal product, a really good, powerful back. I really like what Buffalo actually did in the draft this past week.
Yeah, his collegiate coach and his, professional coach. The same guy, and Pete Carroll. As now you see Wilson rolling out, finds a man in Lockett. Lockett avoids one and another. Touchdown! 47 yards. It's Wilson hooking up with Lockett. And for TSGX Arm, that's gotta kill Ron. He had some solid defense, but somehow a mobile Russell Wilson to the right side was able to exploit a hole.
Well, this is what you're going to see a lot of, especially in the Madden, with the advancements of the quarterback and the accuracy that they built into the throwing motion with some of these guys. It's really cool to see the scrambling quarterbacks. We're going to see a lot of dynamic stuff. We're going to see a lot of Minnesota Vikings. We're going to see a lot of Baltimore Ravens. We're going to see a lot of Saints. We're going to see a lot of Seattle. Houston Texans is another one. A sleeper one in this one, I will be honest with you, it's Carolina Panthers, because Cam Newton's not injured in this, and he's a killer athlete in this type of video game. So again, with the mixture of Christian McCaffrey, and you still have Luke Kuechly in that game, really good offense, really good defense, a couple really good combinations up there.
Well, we are seeing a battle of the purple right now between the Vikings and, the Ravens. Sick at puck, 13-10, having to come back on, the reciprocating drive. 3 for 3 to start this game from Kirk Cousins. Not bad.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is a dink and dunk quarterback. He does a really good thing. There again, he's got great receivers in this game.
2 words, short and simple.
Yeah, keep it simple. Run the hooks, run the slants, high percentages, keep the ball moving, keep the defenses trying to reacting, make them bring pressure for you.
So we'll see Cousins perfect to start this game, 4 for 4. They're going to, empty the backfield and go back to the air. And, 5 for 5. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Again, short 4 or 5 yard passes. But again, it brings up like a 3rd and 2 here. That's a really, really difficult town for defensive edge. Do you play the run? Do you play the pass?
A pretty good response of a drive, if you ask me, for Sick at Puck 13-10, considering he's already down 7-0 in this game. So here's Rudolph catching the ball to the left side, and he catches it.
Yep, first down, just a little crossing pattern. So what you're seeing there was the back scraping out on the one side, and the tight end, basically, you're running like a mesh route on that particular case.
And again, this is the OPFL/OFL Madden NFL 20 tournament presented by Eric Ajax Communications. On the PS4 and Xbox One, we do see the first run play of the game for Sick at Puck 13-10, and, moves the chains, Ron. They're in the Mama's Hot Italian red zone.
Yeah, and a little bit of hurry-up action on top of that to go with it.
Cousins quickly, hastily throws this to Thielen. Thielen cuts in, can't avoid the tackle from Humphries. Great recovery on defense by the Ravens.
I really like the change up the pace and everything else. Keep Baltimore on the one defense. This is a really good counteractor to a solid blitzing team.
Cousins almost had that thrown away. They're going to call this a fumble. McPhee picks it up around the 10, sprinting about through midfield into Minnesota territory. 40, 30, wisely goes out of bounds as recovery, and McPhee was starting to look like he had quicksand for feet, Ron, and unbelievable. I can't believe they called that a fumble.
Well, I think, I don't really know. I kind of missed what happened there, but again, it was, I don't know if it was blocked and hit it or what, or if he just double clutched it, but they blitzed that time and they got in there.
So what a, Yo-yo affair for Sick at Puck 13-10. He got into the Mama's Hot Italian red zone after trailing 7-0. Then a bizarre fumble puts his opponent at his own 25, and now they're knocking on the door of the Mama's Hot Italian sandwich on the other side.
Yeah, they could be going up 14-0, and 14 points is a lot of points to come by for in the 5-minute quarter here.
Lamar Jackson, open target. Boyle catches it. Looks like a first down. Will move the chains as this will conclude the opening quarter of play. Sick at Puck 13-10, somewhat behind the 8 ball, 1/4 of the way through this game.
Yeah, he's going to need to make a defensive stand there sooner or later and get the momentum back on his side there. That was a tough break.
No rest for the wicked. We're actually going to go back to a game we already showed here this evening as the Seahawks now have a 14-0 lead, and TSG Arm is going to have to get something going with Hill at the helm, but unfortunately this short pass won't work out.
Well, again, going with the athletic mobile quarterback, Taysom Hill, it's the trend that you see a lot of these kids liking to do, is going with that mobile quarterback. I don't know, Taysom Hill is an athletic quarterback, but he's not Drew Brees.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's with the lack of love for Mr. Brees as we see Hill go mobile right up the middle, but well short of the first down.
Well, 5 yards, it brings up a 4th and 4, and this allows you to go for it on a 4th and 4 and under if that's what you choose to do.
That's a stadium that I've been to at least, Ron, CenturyLink, and it's funny because CenturyLink is a lot farther than Buffalo, a place that I've yet to visit.
Yeah, Buffalo it's not a great stadium,
especially in December, I would imagine.
It's not a great field to visit in October. Okay. It's cold there all the time. I've been to a game in Buffalo.
4th and 4, they're going for it with Breeze. It's an incomplete pass, and you know what? That's probably the lesser of two evils because that was going to get picked off. And well, for TSGX Arm, this game is, well, slipping away, down 14-0. He just turned over the ball in his own territory.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But anyway, like I was saying, being to a game in Buffalo, first week in December,
woo!
Shirtless,
I'd imagine.
No, I had
like Mr. Mills would have done.
No, not quite like Mr. Mills did. I had a toque on, and then I had a hood and everything else on top of that. Brought my son there. And it's cold in Buffalo when you get there in the beginning of the first quarter and the hot chocolate's already frozen.
Yeah, I've had some of the beverages turn into slushies before they got in my hand in outdoor events, and it's an interesting affair, to say the least. They're winding down the clock here in the opening quarter. This is actually a different battle of the purples, and I wonder how many times we're actually going to see this matchup, Ron. You mentioned it earlier. You're going to see a lot of Vikings, going to see a lot of Ravens. Well, our second dose of a Ravens-Vikings battle.
Another team you're going to see a lot of is going to be the Kansas State Chiefs. I believe you're going to see a lot of them. I think you're going to see a lot of Seattle, like we've already seen a little bit. But these, again, what you're seeing are popular teams and everything else doing. Part of this is what the user likes to do. Everyone's one of saying, "Oh, Baltimore this and Kansas City this." If you can run the ball successfully, Baltimore is a great team. Another great team to run the ball successfully, just like in real life, the Tennessee Titans, because that's a really, really difficult offense to stop when they get the running game going.
Baltimore looking to do more damage with a 5-point lead. They're using the mobile Lamar Jackson with a bit of a blocking scheme to the left side, picks up about 8 yards. And just like that, they're in the Mama's Hot Italian red zone looking to get their, well, second dose of the end zone.
Well, again, an 8-3 score. I'm assuming that you saw him go for 2 at one point in there, as opposed to
early as well.
Early as well, yeah. So that's a strategy that you see a lot of gamers do. Try to get that extra one up there. If you're really good at a 2-point conversion, you tend to run it.
Now a big play from Ingram the second. Only needed 2 yards, and I think he got it to move the chains here,
absolutely.
Ron. And now here's the big thing for Dip Nth 3 Grizz. His defense is on the field. They're tired. He's down by 5. His opponent's at his 11-yard line with a 1st and 10.
Yeah, and this is going to be tough because in real life, you got to present the pass and run.
This
is what Baltimore does.
Ravens. So they give more dose of Ingram the second, and he goes right up the gut for the TD, Ron.
And this is what, makes Baltimore in real life such a really, really hard team to defend, because they can spread you out wide, and then all of a sudden, they got a hammer in the middle. You got to leave a back in there. You got to leave an extra linebacker in there to take the run. But you gotta account for the quarterback to run as well. So again, it's really, really difficult.
We saw Baltimore being successful in our last game. They have a 7-0 lead here, but well, Rumbly Cactus 182. I love that name. Is going to get the benefit of getting his offense back on the field as the Ravens are forced to punt here. Now time though is of the essence. 38 seconds left in the first half. It looks like Houston has 2 timeouts to their advantage.
Yeah, and the ball's at the 15-yard line, so let's see what Houston can do. Again, another popular team with the mobile quarterback in Deshaun Watson.
74 yards needed, not a lot of time left. This one will get at least, 4 yards, Ron. As time continues to tick down, they don't use the timeout. They're going to actually run with Watson here. Watson takes the slide to avoid the damage. Now the TO is taken.
Yeah, smart. Again, get the first downs, move this change and everything else. You got, 13 seconds left in this half here.
Do we see a Hail Mary coming up, Ron?
Well, I think you got to see a chunk play coming up here really quick.
So you already see 3 tackles by Clark, the user at the top right of your screen. He's going to try and blitz off the edge. No, he lays back instead. The ball is completed at midfield. And with 8 seconds left, Houston still has a chance at putting up points in this opening half.
Yeah, you can go another seam pass or something like that. Maybe get it to 1 or 2 seconds. Line up and kick a field goal. Try to get a touchdown or something like that. I think that you're going to see a little bit of pressure being brought this time, though.
It looks like the house might be coming down the middle, as there's only 8 seconds left here. No timeouts for Houston. They got to throw something to the edge unless they're thinking end zone right here, right now. Watson completes it to Hopkins. Hopkins, who I don't even think is on this team anymore, goes into the end zone from 48 yards out, and they tie the game, barring a PAT, that is, before the halftime break.
Well, that's a huge play, and again, with 2 seconds left, again, when you get one-on-one, when you get a really stud receiver in real life or in video games, it's really, really tough to see. And you can see the safety didn't quite get across over top in time to help him out there.
It's not over till it's over. He got the ball with less than a minute left on the clock with 2 timeouts, used them perfectly, and ties the game up 7-all with 2 seconds left here in the opening half. Hill will pick up the bouncy ball and be smothered before the 25 to mark down the opening half of play. But again, Rumbly Cactus, 1-8-2. What a last-minute drive there in the opening half, Ron.
Yeah, that was impressive. I like that. It was good to see a little bit of mixture of run and pass in there. And good to see, again, first time that we've seen a Houston Texans team. We've seen a couple Baltimore Ravens. We've seen a couple Minnesota teams in there.
And as you say
Kansas
that,
City.
Deja vu all over again. This one, though, not necessarily that close in the opening half. A 13-point deficit. Dak 2, CD 40. I believe that's 6, is, commanding this game, but still, as we saw earlier, lots of football left.
Yeah, as we start to see, we still got 2 minutes left in the half here.
You need points here if your Cousins and the Vikings-led offense.
You got to score something here. You got to capitalize on this drive. You can see that there's obviously a strategy going on there with going forward with 2-point conversions as well.
Cousins laying back in the pocket. Eventually will have to unleash this one. Way too much muscle, though. And, incomplete. Cousins now 4 of 6. And if this is the same game from earlier, Adam, our producer, do we know that or not? I believe Cousins started this game up 4 for 4.
Yeah, and what we've got here is this is the opponent who was playing the guy earlier.
Perfect.
So is Islander playing Dak CD 46.
Okay, so essentially Cousins started this game up 4 for 4, and now he's 4 for 7 in this game. So it's been absolutely flipped since the last time we came back, but pretty much the same result, and, it will force the Vikings to punt the rock away deep in their own territory.
That's unfortunate and everything else, but, 46 left and puts it through the back of the end zone.
Yeah,
I think he was
tried
trying to get
corner
that
him,
that a little bit more, but...
Like our boy Mark Leggio, who just got drafted by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, a Vanier Cup champion of the Western Mustangs. He would have made that corner kick.
He would also probably kicked it to the boundary side, which would have been the shorter side rather than the field side, which is a tough side to kick to get.
Whoa, we got some Baltimore versus Baltimore action, and this pass is complete. Wow, one guy is absolutely dominating with Lamar Jackson, at least as far as the aerial assaults is concerned, and yet I'd imagine some mobile tactics being used as well. We're approaching the 2-minute warning. They're going to give it to Ingram the second right up the gut, and Ron, I've actually noticed that more times than not when people are running with Ingram in this game with the Ravens, not east, not west, due north.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he is. He's a pounder. He's a in-between the tackle. Again, because what you're seeing is a 6-man box. 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers. You're trying to bring the safety up. Now all of a sudden you got aces, so you got to move that safety out, or you got to be in real trouble here.
Now this is another touchdown. A hook up to Andrews. A beautifully thrown ball by the user controlling Lamar Jackson. And This is arguably the best game so far of the opening round, as this is coming down to the wire in the fourth quarter.
Well, fourth quarter, we see it's a one-score game, 20-14. It's under a one-score game. Touchdown wins it. You know, a touchdown by Baltimore could potentially win it. The extra point.
And you got the Hawk shots and Shane Nick 5. You got two great competitors choosing two great teams and two great Ravens offenses, and go figure, it's leading to a great game.
Yeah, again, really good balanced teams and everything else. That's something that you're going to see a lot of, is a lot of people choosing the Baltimore Ravens. Another team that people are going to choose a lot of is the Kansas City Chiefs.
And again, remember, cold hard cash on the line this Sunday if you make it that far. And even if you don't, some NFL jerseys are going to be raffled off. About 4 to 6 jerseys is the word coming from the bird. And if you do have any problems, folks, remember to call your regional reps, as we're going to switch over, or I apologize, stick with the action here. Shane Nick 5 again in this 20-14 battle of the Ravens. Baka!
So what you're seeing here is, again, you're going to see run, make him use all 3 of his timeouts, try to get some field position, maybe get a first down or 2.
Especially after the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, exactly. And this is all of a sudden, now you're off to the races.
Oh no, this could be the nail in the coffin. 74 yards to pay dirt. What a play. I'd say nice job by the Ravens, but which one?
Well, by the black ones, as we can see him, he's going for 2
oh,
there.
Okay, you got me there, Ron.
Or actually, that's the purples.
Colorblind, Ron.
A little bit, yeah.
The 2-point convert sprinkles a little salt on the wounds as the lead has been doubled up now.
Yeah, again, really good play design and everything else, though. It's just that when you don't have a high safety and you run that slant pattern, it's death.
BB Blitz 13 down by 10 here in the third quarter. He's got to get some points on the board as the Seahawks, led by Mason LaJoie, are continuing to enjoy their Friday evening. Watson flushed out of the pocket and then smothered into the bird's nest by the Seahawks defense.
Yeah, I believe that's Clowney with the sack there, number 91.
You can see trying to use the mobility of Watson, but a case of maybe too little too late.
Well, again,
on that particular play.
On that particular play, you're dropping. You can see there's a linebacker dropping into zone coverage here. There's just not a lot of room.
Watson given real estate to that left side, gets rid of it, and he's intercepted by Wright at around the 35-yard line. Right back the other way, has that far edge, back for the pick 6, and Seattle, well, continues to pound the rock and get BB Blitz. Well, 13 behind the 8 ball, as now he trails 16-0, awaiting the PAT in this third quarter.
Well, again, you know what you saw there was good coverage downfield by the defense. Late blitzer with a scrambling quarterback. If you're going to commit to the run, you got to get going out there. You can't throw late across the middle in a video game or in real life, or that actually does happen.
Yeah, 2 guys marking the quarterback to that left side. There was a man open, but we're talking way down the field, and who knows if Watson was going to get it to him there. But if you are B Blitz 13, what do you do now? Down by 17, 3:46 left in the third. You got to get going, and you got to get going now.
Well, exactly. You gotta put the ball in your playmaker's hands. Deshaun Watson, it's got to get it to Hopkins.
We're getting our first taste of the guys that went to the final dance. They might want to forget about that fourth quarter back in February, though. It is the San Francisco 49ers, led by Don Merca Jr. 09, and unfortunately for Don Merca Jr. 09, he gets his quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo sacked. It's a 3rd and 11 coming up, down 21-zip.
New Orleans is a really, really good team in this video game. They got a really good high-powered offense. Great receivers, Michael Thomas, Tenkin Jr., Alvin Kamara, a really accurate passer, and a really underrated defense.
Jimmy G throws it up the middle. This looked like it was caught, but then in and out of the hands of Kettle. That's not realistic, Ron.
Yeah, but the hit from the safety is. Because this is really,
true.
really hard-hitting secondary. New Orleans, although I think the window for them is closing, or I think they got like one more year opportunity, it's a really, really balanced team. Good offensive line. They can run the ball, they can pass the ball, and they can play some defense as well.
Down 21-0. He can go for it here on 4th and 11, and he will. Jimmy G throws this ball, almost intercepted, and you know what? It's a turnover on downs anyway.
Yeah, trying to hit Greg Kittle coming across the middle. You have the high-low coverage there with the linebacker scraping across underneath it there.
Tough opening game for Don Merca Jr. 09 as well. He's down 21-0, and he sees Drew Brees, though, Well, he'll smother him for a sack. A little bit of revenge led by Armstead.
Yeah, who's now the Indianapolis Colt, Jesse Armstead.
Well, we saw Hopkins get a big touchdown for the Texans.
Yeah.
I'm sure Houston fans would love to see that next year. Ain't going to happen.
Well, it's not going to happen, but again, I understand why they're doing it, because they weren't going to pay him long-term and everything, as we do see Michael
Breeze
Thomas.
to Thomas. Thomas into the end zone. 53 yards out. You can put this one in between the bed sheets.
Yeah, that's again, what you're trying to do is hit that slant pattern. You have the safety high occupied on the trips to the wide side, and then all of a sudden, boom, one-on-one, and Michael Thomas is a tough cookie to catch.
Now remember, 29-0 though is the mercy. And to be honest with you though, Ron, for Don Merca Jr. 09, let's start looking at the glass a little more half full. Still a half to be played. I mean, it ain't over till it's over, Ron.
No, exactly. And you know what? We keep playing it out. Unless you're losing like 56-0 or something, for crying out loud, who cares?
We saw in our previous tournament of this year, more people tend to drop out after 29-0, but I have a feeling with some hard cash on the line this Saturday and with some groovy NFL jerseys being raffled off too, that more kids are just going to play it out to the final whistle, which is what you love to see from all the OPFL and OFL participants.
Yeah, and again, like this is all like for fun. We're trying to engage our community. We know we've got people from Burlington, from Brampton, from Windsor, from Ottawa, and everything in between.
Well, we can give the shout-outs right now. Burlington Minor Football, Cambridge Lions, Clarington Knights, Essex Ravens, Guelph Junior Griffins, Kingston Golden Gales, the London Junior Mustangs, North Bay Bulldogs, Mississauga Huskies, Orangeville Outlaws, North Halton Crimson Tide, Ottawa Sooners, Sarnia Sturgeons, Scarborough Thunder, Toronto Jets, Vaughan Rebels, Toronto Junior Argos, Waterloo Predators. Just to name a couple, Ron, and I'm sure I've left a lot off that list that are going to, bash me on Twitter later.
But again, this is what we're doing it for. How else can we get football going right now? This is basically the only way that we can do it. Let's be realistic. At this point, are we going to have a season? Don't know. Not sure. I don't make that call.
Well, I heard locally here in the Forest City, they're talking about the end of June now as far as getting people out in the parks and doing things recreationally again. And I'd imagine for things, especially at least summer football, that is starting to put it a little bit, I won't say impossible, but pretty darn difficult.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because I know that there's a lot of really high quality teams out there this year. We are looking forward to competing against, and we're looking forward to competing against us as well. It's at the end of the day, though, everyone's doing this for the safety and the betterment of society and everything else. This is why we're doing this, so we can still engage the football community while practicing social distancing and everything else.
230 different participants as we see the field goal is good between the Battle of the Ravens late in the third quarter of play to put up, 17-10. It's Keyshawn 19 taking on Damian Savage 22-12. And again, got to give a big shout outs to our sponsors on Sunday. It'll be Baron Rings and Kahunaverse taking us through the championship dances. Mama's Hot Italian Sandwiches. Have you got a cream puff in you yet, Ron?
Not yet, but I plan on doing that at the kind of little intermission break that we're going to do there at the beginning of the after the game.
I know what you're getting at, brother. And I got to give a big shout out to Brenda at Mama's Hot Italian, located at 797 York Street. She's available on Skip the Dishes. Is that right, Mr. Melrose, our producer? It is right, apparently.
I think you might be a little accurate there.
Okay, she's open from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday right now, given the current COVID-19 situation. But let me tell you this. If you are in London as a resident, this is something you must try out. Support the local restaurants. I don't know about you, Ron, but I'm eating far more local food than any corporate stuff lately, just for the sole factor that I want to see them around in the future. And you can check out Mama's Hot Italian Sandwiches online at exactly that. Mama, that's M-A-M-A, hotitaliansandwiches.com. And like I said, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily.
Yeah, again, just a big shout out to Brenda and Mama's Hot Italian and everything that they've done for us. Again, supplying us way more than enough food and everything else. I'm telling you, if you haven't had a cream puff from there, they're phenomenal.
Well, and if you're a Vaughan Rebel, a North Bay Bulldog, or a Hamilton Junior Tiger Cat, or even an Essex Raven, you're going, why would I care about Mama's Hot Italian in London? One day, you will play the Junior Mustangs in the Forest City, and one day, either pre-game or post-game, you're going to go, Man, I am exhausted and I need something delicious, nutritious, and to get me home in style. It will be Mama's Hot Italian sandwiches.
And the cannolis aren't bad either, just for the record.
Producer Melrose, what do you got, brother?
Hey guys, really cool action going on right now between Damian Savage 22-12 against Keyshawn 19.
The Battle of the
Close
Ravens.
game. Yeah, I'm cruising around. We got the YouTube channels and we got the Twitch links for everybody else. And I'm trying to find other games so we can do side by side here, guys, and give everybody, you know, a couple of drives and a few plays. But there's a lot of guys not streaming right now. So if you're parents and you're listening, or if you're a brother or sister and you're watching your brother or your sister play here, I just remind you guys, over the weekend we want to show as many games on air as possible. So please make sure you're uploading and streaming out to Twitch. And when you do go live, I'm watching the chat on the YouTube channel. So just have somebody message in that XYZ player is now playing, and we'll make sure to flip over to your game. Because otherwise, we're just cycling through and looking for other games to watch. So we want to get everybody on air.
And that comes from a true gentleman with decorum and professionalism in Adam Melrose. I'll be way more blunt about it. If you don't stream your game, I don't want to hear how we didn't show your game, because how am I supposed to show your game if you didn't stream, Ron?
Exactly. And again, this is all about having fun and everything else. As we see Baltimore Ravens out there, they've got
well, our producer Melrose usually hits it on the head dead twice, and he's done it here again, Ron. This is a doozy, and it's coming down to the final 3.5 minutes of play. But we got two Raven teams going at it. Man, already I can tell the Ravens have amassed at least 25% of the users' teams in this tournament.
Yeah, and again, this is one of the advantages of having a solid team and everything else. Baltimore, you knew was going to be good at the start of the year. You didn't think they were going to be quite as good as they were. Everyone kind of thought that this was going to be their year, as opposed to last year, as we saw Kansas City, you know, kind of take over near the end there.
Will that be the case, though, Ron? I'm going to put you, you know, do you think they got what it takes?
Well, that's tough, you know, and I'm just saying that right now. It's gonna
huge user sack. Not to interrupt you, but Jadon controlled by the user. Lamar had rolled out. It was mono here, Ron, and man, Jackson paid dearly.
Yeah, well, Lamar Jackson's not going to break that tackle in real life or in a video game or anything else. When you got a 300-pounder coming across, I don't care how fast Lamar is. You know, power and speed and velocity equals sack.
And just an echo our sentiments of our producer, Adam Melrose. If you are gaming right now, please ensure that you are streaming, whether it's through Twitch or YouTube, and make sure that information is available. We want to try and get through as many games as possible here, not just in the round of 64 on your Friday night, but of course as well on Saturday and the championship goodness on Sunday.
Well, exactly. And again, we want to see the different teams out there. We want to get as much exposure out there for everybody as possible. So you guys stream your games. If you don't stream your games, flat out, we're just not going to say anything about you.
Well, I mean, it's as simple as that sometimes.
Guys, we're going to go real quick to Coach KJ. He has just a clarification to bring up. So, Johnny, if you want to unmute yourself on Zoom, then we can get Coach KJ in the mix. Coach KJ, can you hear us?
So, Commissioner, we brought you back in. Hopefully the technical aspects are working. Are you there right now, Commissioner?
I can hear you, Adam. I can't hear Johnny. I could hear him before, but it went out.
I hear you right now. I hear you. Oh.
Yes, sir.
Disappeared off the screen.
How's that hot Italian, boys?
It's delicious. You know what? It's nothing like eating like 2 chicken parm sandwiches right before you got to sit for 3 hours and work. So, go ahead, Coach. We got you on. I know you wanted to double check or do some clarifications, so fire away. You're on the air.
So make sure, players, that you go on to the updated tournament brackets at 7:15. The brackets were locked. So if you had if you were looking at it earlier, and we understand the confusion, but the real issue is that we got to follow what we were sent in the emails. Was that at 7:15, double check, it'll be locked. We had to make some adjustments. We had some personal issues, some family emergencies, some people that had to drop out. So we did our best to make sure that everybody got their 2 games. If you are playing a game right now and it's not on the bracket,
it does appear like we're having a bit of technical difficulties picking up the commission.
So anyways, bottom line, make sure that you check your brackets, talk to your team managers. and we'll give you some extra time to get the games in. We have all night to get these first round games in. We'll probably be going to about 10:30 when we'll get off the air. So you have lots of time. Get your games in, recheck your brackets, make sure you're playing the right opponent. And again, we apologize for any
patience a little bit.
Exactly.
John.
We apologize for those technical issues. To be honest with you, producer Melrose, I did not hear anything that Coach KJ Kedemy said, so I assumed what he was talking about, because I did catch little glimpses, was he was referring to the updated bracket, which took place at 7:15 p.m., and will be pretty much updated immediately as this tournament continues, and that's where they should be going to find the most updated and valuable information.
See, Baltimore, they did end up kicking that field goal in there, so now they're up 10 points with 1 minute and 6 seconds left in the fourth quarter here.
And this isn't going to help, because Lamar Jackson is sacked, trying to escape over to the left side, and we got to play action following it up. Yeah, he's running out of real estate, though. A pass to Ingram, and that's sort of just the bailout play, and they're lucky to get any yards on it.
Well, again, it's like it's hard to go vertical with Baltimore, even though that's what they want to do. Their fastest guy doesn't have a great catch radius, and Hollywood Brown needs a good real option for that. They are more of a ground and pound type of team, play action type of team, but you got to hit that X when he's open.
Lamar trying to go deep into double coverage, intercepted by Peters, and he's trying to go southbound on the northbound freeway the other way, past the opponent's 40, drilled down at the 37, and this one should put this to bed.
Yeah, that's pretty much the nail that that's going to be the nail that sealed the coffin, unfortunately, for this one, the 10-point lead and the ball back.
Some great action, though, here in the OPFL, OFL, Madden NFL 20 tournament presented by Arcade Jacks Communications, live here on Junior Mustangs TV. And again, this is on the PS4 and Xbox Ones, both a 14 and under bracket and a 15 and over bracket taking place. Shoutouts to Baron Rings and Kahunaverse helping us out on Sunday with the championship action, as well as Mama's Hot Italian Sandwiches for providing all the red zone coverage as we see a red zone play here, but Lamar is sandwiched.
Yeah, and again, just really good defense, but what you're trying to do here is you're not trying to force anything, you're just trying to keep the clock going. As you can see that they're out of timeouts and everything else. If they got 16 seconds left, you can pretty much take a knee at this point. She's all but over.
So we're going to switch from one game to the other, as that one looks like it's in the setting sun. Let's go to one that's rising up. Stamps 32 is live, and he's taking on EENP. And this doesn't get much more tender than this, Ron. It is the Mama's Hot Italian red zone with Baltimore at their opponent's 18-yard line.
Now, this is a team that, had a really, really successful offense, and on paper had a really good defense. Didn't translate in the field very well for them, but Tampa Bay was one of those sneaky teams. They've got a great offense and everything else.
Now, given this situation, what do you do if you're Tampa Bay? I mean, you're down by one. Your opponent's at your 4-yard line. You do have one timeout left, but he can kill another 25 seconds here, Ron.
Yeah, there's two theories in here, and I'll kind of let the play develop and kind of go from there. There's the let them score, which is, I think, what you're going to see.
They score right here.
Even because...
So you go, furthermore, do you go for the 2-point convert here and try and seal the game right now?
Well, right now you've got a 7-point lead. If you kick the field goal, it's going to force them to go for the 2-point conversion and get it just to tie it up.
And, well, they will play it safe and listen to Ron Forwarder's advice. I was going to be more the riverboat gambler. You got some house money. You go for the 2-point convert, and if you get it, the game is all over right then and there. And if you don't, you still lead by 7.
Yeah, but 2-point conversions are not a given in this game. So, it's hard to do. For Tampa Bay, O.J. Howard and Mike Evans are red zone nightmares. They're a really good 2-point conversion team. I do know that. So
you mentioned these guys earlier, Ron. Tampa Bay, though, led by Jameson Winston, the crab leg eater. That's now the backup QB for the Saints. Is going to roll back in the pocket and air this one deep. Double coverage. The ball bounces. I've never seen a football do that before, Ron. All the way into the end zone, incomplete pass.
That was a great throw, but, I don't know if
For a guy who threw 30 interceptions in real life in one season, yeah, it was.
Yeah, again, but that's what you get with Jameis Winston.
He's going to huck this one deep again. Almost intercepted. and that would have well sealed the deal, but Tampa's hopes are still alive in this game.
You know, this is a nail biter. This is a team that you weren't, to be honest with you, I didn't think we were going to see a lot of.
Well, play action. Winston rolling up. He's going to huck this one. There's nobody there, Ron. It's going to be intercepted easily by the Ravens defense, and this should seal this contest.
Well, it's unfortunate, but again, you know, great to see another team other than the standard 2 or 3 teams that we seem to get. You know,
I'm scared for the semifinals, Ron, when we just see all Baltimore. I hope not.
It'd be the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Chiefs, or are you going to throw a sprinkle of San Francisco in there? Again, when we did this one the first time, one of the sneaky teams in there, if you know how to play it right, is New England, because they're so accurate and they're so good at short passing. You can go up and down the field with them.
And I was going to say, I detest them in real life, but they're pretty darn good in this game. The Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, we're not going there. I'm
man.
you know what?
Zeke and Prescott are pretty good in this game. You got to put your biases aside, Ronnie. Oh my word, this one.
You know, there you go. There's New England. You know, there you see what the Patriots can do.
Asking you shall receive, Mr. Forwarda. You ask for New England, we give you New England, and as a result, a 44-0 lead for KSM Oreo.
Yeah, this is a deadly team. If you know how to do New England, if you're good with them, they're really hard to stop, and you can just go up and down the field with them. It's incredible.
This is intercepted too. KSM Oreo, or KSM Oreo, I should say, isn't just getting it done on one side of the field, Ron, but both. That's a user pick, and Brady's quickly back onto the field. And I would imagine with a 44-0 lead, some pretty respectable football. Look at that. 132 rushing yards on 8 rushes from the tailback for Brady.
Well, you know, again, you know, when you can spread them out and you got that one back in there and you got to play a dime defense, all you have to do is make one guy miss. And the thing with Madden, if you become really good at 1 or 2 plays, you can dominate a type of game like this.
Well, and domination is certainly being displayed right here on your Friday evening as New England going to work with a 44-0 lead. And maybe, like I just mentioned or referred to, is a little bit of respect being shown here, some restraint, because this is not the offense that you would see producing 44 points currently.
Well, you know, again, if you had 6 rushes for 146 yards earlier, this might have been the offense that we're seeing. But going back to something there, shout out to Coach Bruno DeSando, who I coach with here in London. I know he's a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. Not giving them the credit, not giving them the respect, cannot give Dallas any credit. I liked what they did with their first pick, the second pick, not so much. You know, so draft. You know, you got to sign Dak, and the Cowboys' window is going to close really quickly, I think you're going to find.
I heard Dak needs more money. He can't live off of $30 million, just a measly $30 million, as we will go to Dallas and get a little dose of Mr. Elliott, and that will be a 61-yard touchdown, Mr. Forwarda.
Yeah, just a little screen pass and everything there that you see with Zeke, and again, just really good team on Madden, but just not.
What a way to start the game, though. I told you that the Cowboys were pretty good in this contest. They go to Zeke, and, well, they get the rushing touchdown on the opening drive of the game, and for Dred Hayes, 9-7-9-6-0. He's already down 7-0 with his offense going onto the field for the first time, just a mere 12 seconds into this game.
That's tough. You know, that's really tough, as we see a really different set here for Kansas City. 3 tight ends, 1 running back. So let's see what I think Kansas City, you're going to see them come out trying to run the ball here.
And they do, with little success through Williams to the right side, a gain of 2 yards here in the OPFL OFL Madden NFL 20 tournament presented by Eric Ajax Communications, live here on Junior Mustangs TV. It is Ron Forwarda and yours truly, Johnny Urban, happy to take you through, and a big shout out and thank you to our producer, Adam Melrose. As Mahomes flushed out, gonna go for a gander here, Ron, and somehow went undetected by the linebacking core. Well, almost. He gains 5 yards.
You know, again, what makes Dallas really good in the video game is, like we said, they do have Amari Cooper. They've got the speed guy downfield with the really good hands. Zeke is a credible back. What makes them dangerous, though, is they have two linebackers that have unbelievable speed in Jalen Smith and Kyle Kyle Vanderbosch, and they just
intercepted Smith at midfield, and Dread Hayes 97960 is gonna cringe his teeth at that one as his opponent with a 7-0 lead gets their offense back onto the field for the second time in this game, starting from Dread Hayes' 45-yard line.
So again, just another thing, that Jalen Smith, the Notre Dame product, there's a guy that in real life, went out, hurt his knee in the Fiesta Bowl as we see Zeke going for another touchdown scamper here.
Second touchdown of the game. I believe that's just the second or third offensive play of this contest for them boys from Dallas. And wow, I mean, Dread Hayes 97960, maybe to no fault of his own, but you gotta protect that gentleman and, well, Ezekiel Elliott, because he's burned you now for 2 touchdowns, and we're not even halfway through the opening quarter of play.
Yeah, this could get ugly fast here. If you're Kansas City, you got to get some points on the board here quick.
So we'll see if Dread Hayes 97960 can come back, or Culver 20 will continue the domination in Dallas. As, again, I knew that Zeke was going to be a threat, and this is the first time we're seeing a taste of the Cowboys, and them boys are up 14-0. Now it's imperative for them to respond. Smith almost got his second user interception of the game. Instead, it's a little TK action, the tight end for the first down.
Yeah, Travis Kelce, that crossing pattern coming across the middle to the 3 tight end set. He's the inside guy, so, it's tough. You should see 2 guys on the wing there.
And again, a quick reminder, guys, that if you're currently playing right now, please submit your gamer tags as well as your YouTube and or your Twitch, whatever you're using, because we'd like to stream as many games as we possibly can here this Friday evening. I feel like we've gotten through a couple, Ron, but to be honest with you, so much more.
Well, again, we'll talk about tomorrow. We're literally going to go through a lot of football games, at different times and everything else. So, even if you guys lose in this tournament, look, keep watching to see how the outcome comes out.
You probably could learn a thing or two.
Yeah, support and like it. Again, we're doing this for you guys. We're glad that you can participate in this. And again, we're really happy that everyone's being involved in this and that everyone can participate and have a little bit of fun during the social distancing time.
KC, led by Dread Hayes, 97960, gives it to Williams. Williams trying to fight towards the end zone, and, well, he's on the board. He made it the Mama's Hot Italian red zone count this time. As it looks like there were some network issues in that game, but they're quickly back up. That's the kind of stuff that we want to see here on your Friday, as again, there are just so many participants, over 230, all from different locations, as we perfect social distancing here during this OPFL, OFL, Madden NFL 20 tournament presented by Air K-Jax Communications, as we head over to OK Boomer 8780. He's got an 8-0 lead in the second half with his offense back on the field.
Another Seattle team, and then the New Orleans team. So these are 2 of the popular teams that we're starting to see.
What is this?
Oh.
The gloating being done as Wilson now has over 100 yards rushing and the lone touchdown in this game. Just a little bit of skip to my loo towards the first down. You're lucky, Ron, because when you're doing that and you can get hit, the probability of fumbling the ball goes way up. Here's a blitz, but I have a feeling that was done illegally, as this is against the defense, offside, Cohen to give him free 5 yards.
Yeah. That was,
They're not wearing the lime green uniforms, Ron.
and I appreciate that to everybody who's playing Seattle. Please do not wear those god-awful lime greens.
Into the end zone, touchdown, Seattle. An 8-yard strike gives OK Boomer 87-80 a 2-touchdown lead, and still a PAT to await with 2:09 left here in the third quarter of play.
Going for 2.
And there's a fake through Smith, and honestly, I thought that he got it, but I don't think he did. Just shy. I love that play decision. I love the design, but man, oh man, it came down to a couple inches, and it just didn't get the job done.
Well, celebrating a little bit early. We've seen that in a couple of real-life games as well. Don't celebrate until you're in the end zone. We want you to have fun and everything else, but come on, play smart too.
Want to give a big thank you to the London Junior Mustangs football program, the OFL and OPFL representatives, people that are working hard behind the scenes, including our own Sharon Braid, and the Essex Ravens head coach and Glenn Mills, who's provided a couple groovy and entertaining interviews over the course of this weekend. Ronnie, you, of course, and Adam Melrose and KJ Kedemy, I was going to say the stooges. Maybe I'll say the brains of the operation instead and save some face.
I'm not the brains of the operation.
You're the face, Ron.
I am the voice of the operation, the voice of the angel.
We see the Saints struggling on the ground game here, down 14-zip. They've collected 14 rushing yards on 4 carries.
Well, again, in real life, 14 out of 14.
In real life.
4 out of 14, that's not bad, But again, when you're in Madden and everything else, you got to get a few more chunk plays going there.
Especially
you're not
when
going to do that when you're getting the big boys up there, though. Seattle's really playing the run well in this game.
And I apologize. I'll tell you numbers because these ones aren't as impressive in real life. 8 rushing yards, 5 attempts.
Well, when you lose a couple yards on the carry, that's what happens, so...
Breeze will go to the air, completed to Cook, but Cook appears to be shy of the first down, and down 14-0, 4th and 1. Do you go for it here, Ron?
Yeah, I think you have to. Drew Brees is 4-13 in this game for 2 interceptions.
Do you run the ball then?
I think you're a passing team. I think you got to try to pass it here. I like the tight end.
They go to a pitch play, and they get the first down. It looked like the edge had been cut off, but Kamara cut back in and moved the chains.
Good little move there. Because, again, your momentum on that joystick would have taken them out there, and if you take them out a little bit wider, I'm not sure he makes it.
So Breeze and the Saints continue their drive as it is OK Boomer 87-80 on the defense, and he's going to get the interception in his own end zone as Diggs gets the ball back into Seattle's favor.
And that's the end of the third quarter as well, unfortunately. So at the beginning of the fourth, down 14-0, the Saints are. Seattle's got the ball back here. Let's see what the wizard Russell Wilson can do again.
So you need a stop on defense if you are Silk Thunder 81, and he'll at least start it off right with a sack through Azalone. And Ron, what do? Obviously you need the stop on defense, but then you got some timeouts left there. We're going to quickly switch over to another game, or is my producer Adam Melrose just teasing me a little bit here, as that one was thrown into double coverage, and this is a barn burner early after just 5 minutes of play after the first quarter. 15-14 as Incorrect IB 32 has the offense back onto the field looking to add to his 1-point lead.
Yeah, again, these are two of the more popular teams that you see in Madden with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. And this is, I think, one of the many matchups we're going to see over the weekend, Johnny.
Just the second pass attempt of the game for the Ravens offense, and 1 for 2 in this game after the incompletion by Jackson. They're going to go back to the air here. No, scratch that. A little zigzag out of the backfield by Jackson. He continues to rumble up the field, and he fumbles the ball instead. Ward and the Chiefs recover. Now they're going back the other way. A little shake and bake will get them past the 30-yard line. Ward's fumble recovery will be downed at the Ravens' 27-yard line.
This is why Lamar Jackson is listed as a quarterback and not a running back in the video game. Because in real life and in Madden, he can fumble the ball in space. So, as much as everyone loves to run Lamar Jackson, loves to run Patrick Mahomes, love to run Deshaun Watson and these other quarterbacks, they are quarterbacks. They are not running backs. They will cough up the ball a lot more than the running backs will.
So it was the incorrect play for Incorrect IB 32 to choose as he continued to run with Lamar Jackson. Does give an opportunity here for E. Newt back on the offense into the Mama's Hot Italian red zone with a 2nd and 1 play coming up here through Mahomes. Only 5 seconds left on the play clock. Snaps the ball, protected in the pocket, rolls over to the right side. Easy first down, should go down. Instead, tight ropes down the far sidelines and got even more yards. It's a, 1st and goal coming up.
Yeah, again, Patty Mahomes. We actually saw this in real life, him kind of dancing down the sidelines like that during the regular season. I believe it was against Oakland.
And I think he did it at least once or twice in that game against the Niners back in February.
Yeah, maybe. That's quite possible. I remember the Niners being way up, and then some shenanigans happened, and the 49ers lost the game.
Here's KC looking to add, and they will. Touchdown thrown by Mahomes. So Newt regains the lead over incorrect IB32. And this is a back-and-forth barn burner, a shootout at the OK Corral, Ron.
This is more like your Madden type of game, or the high score that you're starting to see. Again, that was a very important extra point, because now we see a 6-point swing there. So now you got to get the 2-point conversion, which they've obviously got at 1 point today.
And you think you had Lamar Jackson rumbling towards the red zone in your favor, and then a fumble puts it back into your opponent's lap, and they make you pay on the ensuing drive, Ron.
Yeah, and that's real life. That's real football and everything else. It does happen in video games as well. Again, Lamar Jackson is a quarterback in this game, as though everyone loves to run him as much as they do. He's super fast, great athlete, but he will drop the ball for you.
Just 16 more yards of total offense by the Chiefs compared to the Ravens so far in this game, and it's the Chiefs with a 6-point lead. We go back to more of a mobile Lamar Jackson, and he stays in bounds, and I thought for a second there, Ron, he was going to break off the tackle. He has well over 100 rushing yards on 6 attempts in this game.
Well, again, the speed and everything, but he's also fumbled the ball once, and that's cost them
points.
The lead in this game.
Yeah, that's right. Lamar goes back to the run. First down and more. Tries to cut back in and fumble the ball again. This one's picked up again by the Chiefs defense, and Hitchens will return it to his 46. Oh, man. You pretty much just called it, Ron, and it happened right in front of us.
Well, again, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Lamar Jackson's a quarterback. He's a great scrambling, running quarterback, absolutely.
But once you got the first down, you got to get down.
He can't take the hits, and this is like in real life. Quarterbacks cannot take the hits like that, and in Madden, they will fumble the ball.
Gotta have vital ball security. Now Tyreek Hill wide open in the secondary somehow receives this. Mahomes is 6 of 7 to start this game for 203 yards passing thanks to this last bomb to Hill. And Newt, who was originally down 15-14 if you recall when we came over to this game, now is trying to add to a 6-point lead in the Mama's Hot Italian red zone.
And what it's been the 2 turnovers by the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. This is dangerous. You can't be scrambling around like that. Get that ball
like a bottle top, and somehow is able to throw this ball away and not draw any flags in the process, Ron.
Well, it's hard to see if it was in the pocket or not anymore, the way he was scrambling around.
After that giant circle that he drew in the field. And again, this is the OPFL, OFL, Madden NFL 20 tournament presented by AirCageX Communications, live on Junior Mustangs TV here on your Friday night. Sunday will be the championship, still plenty more contender rounds on Saturday. And if you lose Friday or Saturday, not a big deal, as Tyreek Hill from 16 yards out gets the touchdown, and Newt looking to pull away with this one in the latter half.
Well, again, it's been 2 turnovers, though. Again, with the running quarterback, that is the danger of playing with Lamar Jackson and running him all the time. I know it's a really great option for everyone, and everyone loves to do it, but he does drop the ball.
Yeah, 6 rushes for over 100 yards, and then you think, well, then he starts fumbling every time he started running with the ball, and that did not help out his case.
Yep, exactly. So, and that's too bad.
Let's bring our producer, Adam Melrose, into the front. What do you got for us, A-Dog?
One thing we got to work on is our sideline signals. I meant to say we have 2 minutes until we're going to do an interview, but I appreciate.
Who do we have lined up in 2 minutes, my friend?
Well, Tavon Campbell's going to be coming on, and Coach Mills is going to be joining us here shortly as well. So, actually, we can even see Coach Mills. Are you available now? All right, well, we'll go back to you guys for a second.
No problem, and it'll give me an opportunity to give a big shout-out to one of our mainstay sponsors here on Junior Mustangs TV, and that's Mama's Hot Italian Sandwiches. I see the cream puff himself reaching for a couple right now, and my, oh my, those things are masterpieces, Ron. Now, I want you to take a bite and just describe it to the folks at home as you're eating it. I know it's rude to talk with your mouth open, but it looks like you're in heaven just biting into that thing.
Yeah.
Short and sweet is the description from Mr. Forwarda. But again, you can check them out here in London, Ontario, mamashotitaliansandwiches.com, or just simply check them out here in London, Ontario at 797 York Street. They're open from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday through this pandemic, and trust me, Ron, I've been eating it quite a bit, even when we're not doing these broadcasts.
Fresh cream, fresh made dough, like just everything's fantastic there.
I recall
The sauces are amazing.
I recall you and I called a game.
Lucas.
Yeah, from Lucas High School, which is just a couple blocks from our secret location right now. I guess it's not so secret. As essentially, you had a cream puff, and I forget the actual running back's name, but by the time that kid had grabbed the ball from the...
All right, fellas, thank you so much. I'm going to jump over. I think we've got Coach Mills now. Have we got you there, Coach?
We do, yeah.
Absolutely. And you want to introduce your guest that you brought on with us this evening?
You know what? Absolutely. I'm excited to have Tavon Campbell out of the Toronto area. Formerly played his club football with the Toronto Thunder, and then went on to play with the Regina Rams. And from there, he went and played in the CFL for several years, and now he's a current member with the LA Chargers. And you know what? Thanks a lot for taking the time to join us today, Tavon, and we're excited to have you.
Appreciate you for having me.
You know, a couple quick questions. Now, I seen that you know, after you left the Toronto Thunder, you decided to go to the Regina Rams. Now, were they a university team at that time? Because they started off as a CGFL team, correct?
Yeah, they were a university team when I joined.
Okay, yeah, and you played what, 3 or 4 years there, and then you went on and you got drafted by the Stampeders, correct?
Yeah,
that's outstanding. Now, I seen you've had some travels in the CFL, and now you finally landed in the NFL. And you know, and I see when you went to the NFL, you spent the first time with the Jets, and now you're with the LA Chargers. Now, what's the biggest difference you think between? I mean, obviously the skill level. But I think just preparation-wise, training-wise, just the overall game. What's the difference between the CFL and the NFL?
there's not much of a difference. I'd say the biggest difference for me was really the terminology and the concepts they use down there, just because it is 11-man football, different from the 12-man and the different size field. So there's a lot of different moving parts in it.
Now, what did your practice schedule, game day, or not game day, but daily schedule? I think it's probably, is it quite different than the CFL?
Yeah, I think it's a little different.
Like they spend, I think they take a little bit more. I'm not trying to downplay the CFL, but I think they take it a little bit more serious and a little bit more attention to detail. I think you probably get treated a little bit nicer too, I would guess.
I mean, you gotta set schedule, and I think the biggest difference between the CFL and the NFL is just the time you have to spend in the locker room and the time you have to spend in meetings and on the field and whatnot. In the CFL, I think it's 4.5 hours. So you get in around 9, you leave around 1:30. But I remember leaving some days at 4:30, 5:30, wouldn't get home until like 6. So it's definitely the time you got to spend there.
For sure. Now, one of the questions, everybody probably wants to know is, what are you doing right now, both physically and to stay at the top of your game? Obviously, the NFL's going to start at some point. It looks like it's going to be a little bit delayed, but what are you doing right now during this COVID situation to try and stay in the best possible, mental and physical shape, so that when you guys resume your camp, you're ready to go?
I mean, all I can. Yeah, I mean, I got some weights and some barbells. I got a lot of weights in the garage right now set up, and we do have like Zoom meetings with our coaches and stuff like that. So we're still going through the mental process of learning plays and learning new things and keeping the mind right. But in terms of physical, I got weights here. There's a street outside that I could run on. So always trying to stay in shape.
Now, I know I'm sure one of my guys, Luke Wilson, is currently playing with the Seahawks. Now, he stayed in LA to train just because he was worried about, obviously, the situation, whether he's able to get back or not get back or things like that. Like, has that had played any type of part on, like, if you wanted to go and train somewhere in the United States, would you be able to do that?
I'm not sure. They have restrictions on the border. Luke might have been in the States when they started closing the borders, but I know you could go down there for work-related purposes. So I might be able to, might not, but I'm not too sure.
All right, if there's any advice you could give a young football player, trying to get to the next level, or just what would it be? What would be probably the number one message you would send? You would tell the young man.
Focus on you. Focus on your craft. Work on getting better. Don't try to compete with people. Just compete with yourself, kind of thing.
You know what? Again, I want to thank you for your time. We wish you all the best. You're playing in a great place, LA. What a beautiful city. And we again want to take the time to thank you and want to wish you all the best in your future career with in the NFL. Hopefully, it's a good, solid career.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Coach, and thank you, Tavon, for joining us. And we're going to flip back over to Mr. Johnny Urban and get a little synopsis of your thoughts on the evening so far. It was a quick first hour. I think a lot of the kids are done. Their game. We've got a few PS4 U14s left, I believe. And take us through this this first hour and 20 minutes. What are you feeling?
Well, I don't know about you, Mr. Forwarder, but I'm certainly having fun. This has almost an NFL red zone style feel to it. We're seeing lots of great action. Sure, we've seen some blowouts, which, let's face it, in a tournament of this nature where you have 230 plus participants who probably have never played against each other, that was bound to happen. But we've also seen some pretty, 32-25, some 21-14, some 31-28. Those are some pretty tight contests, and I don't know, what are your thoughts on what you've seen so far?
I really like the competitiveness, but with everyone out there, we've seen pretty much all the games have been pretty evenly matched on all the levels. We've seen a couple blowouts, which, fortunately, it does happen from time to time.
Happens in real life.
It happens in real life, even if it's not what you were hoping or expecting and everything else.
Been on a wrong end of a few of those.
Yeah, being on my wrong end of a few of them, being on the other end of the right end of a few of them as well. But it's neither here nor there. The big thing here is that this is all about engaging with the community over the province of Ontario. Like I said, we've got people from Windsor, from Sarnia, all the way to Ottawa, to North Bay, pretty much everything in between. Kudos to everybody, behind the scenes who have put this on, I cannot tell you the countless hours that have gone into setting this up at all the levels and everything else. So just kudos to everybody. This is, again, we're doing this for you guys so everyone can stay engaged, everyone can do something, and everyone can still feel like they're still playing football and engaged in the football community. At the end of the day, that's what's important out of all of this.
And whether you're a Vaughan Rebel or a Burlington Stampede or a London Junior Mustang or a Clarington Knight, a North Bay Bulldog or a Niagara Spear, as well as an Ottawa Sooner or a Sarnia Sturgeon, a Toronto Jet or a Scarborough Thunder, and everywhere in between, including the Essex Ravens and the Guelph Junior Griffins, and those Kingston Junior Gales too. And as I mentioned before, I'm probably, skipping over a few. I know Brantford Bisons. I could go on and on, Ron, but the point remains